right, we're back on the Ringer NFL show. A little game this week called Cooked, Contender, or Playoff Pretender. The idea is simple. We are focusing on teams that lost today, and we're trying to gauge a little bit about where are we with each of them. Are we panicking? Is it over? So cooked means it's over. See you next year. Not your year. You're not making the playoffs. Contender means, all right, you might have lost today, but we can still see you playing on championship weekend, which if you're playing in championship weekend, it means you obviously have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Playoff pretender, that's in between. Like, all right, you still got a shot to get into the tournament. Maybe you're like the Saturday afternoon game or something like that, but we're not really taking you seriously as a contender. So we've got three teams we've got to talk about, see what level of panic their fan bases should be after what transpired in week 12. And the first team is a team we've talked a lot about this year, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. They lose 38-10 to the Green Bay Packers. No Brock Purdy, no Trent Williams, no Nick Bosa, no Charvarius Ward. They have 11 first downs in this game. That's the fewest in any game under Kyle Shanahan since he became the 49ers head coach. Ruiz, let's start with you. What do you got? Cooked, contender, or playoff pretender for the San Francisco 49ers, and why?
I'm not quitting this team. I'm sorry. I know how bad it looked. They're only one game back of first place in the NFC West. There's a very good chance this team makes the playoffs. I know that some playoff models have them at only 11%, at 15% to make the playoffs, but Seattle's schedule is tough down the stretch. They still have tough games. They play the Packers, they play the Vikings, they play the Rams, who I think, the record isn't great, but I do think they're going to be a competitive team. And they play at Arizona. So there's a chance that Seattle loses a few games. I think Arizona has shown some weak points, especially on Sunday against Seattle. And I still want to see this team and this offense healthy again before I'm willing to say they're cooked. I still think if we get those 5 Avengers back, I know we're not getting Ayuk, but if you throw Purdy in there, I guess for one day I'll allow him membership in the Avengers, the 49ers Avengers. But if you get all those guys back, I still think this offense has a high ceiling. We saw even during this hell year, they're like top 10 in a bunch of offensive metrics coming into this game. I know today was ugly, but it was expected to be ugly. And I know the schedule is daunting, but every team in the NFC West has a daunting schedule down the stretch. And if I had to bet my life on one of these teams winning a playoff game in the playoffs, it would still be the 49ers.
So that's contender for you, not
I'm
just
going
playoff
contender
pretender.
because if they do hit their stride come January, I think they have a chance to go on a run. I think every team in the NFC has weak points, has exploitable weak points. I don't trust the defense, but if Nick Bosa is out there, the defense always has a chance to put up a good game.
I hate to agree with you, Ruiz, but I can't quit him either. I can't quit him. Listen, you get to the Super Bowl, you earn a little bit of, credibility, where until I really need to just say, see you next year, I'm not going to do it quite yet. And Diante gave us all the numbers on the Friday show that they're still operating like a top 8, top 10 offense. When you look at it now, obviously the big concern is, are you getting healthy? You are going to Buffalo next week. You have it. Who is lining up? Who is on the field against Josh Allen in Buffalo in week 13? But I'm with you. They're one game out. They're 5-6. No one's run away with the division. They don't need to necessarily win the division. If you get a wild card spot, I have them as contender because I think if they actually do get in, they're going to be dangerous. Like, to me, there's no playoff pretender with them. They're not going to be who cares? The Niners are in the playoffs. No, if they get in, this is a dangerous team that can make a run. The odds, you said good chance to make the playoffs. The odds would say they do not. I know you mentioned that, but even the FanDuel odds, the betting markets, any statistical model you look at would say it is, way over 50% that they do not make the playoffs. That was the case going into this weekend, and then they lost this weekend. I'm looking at FanDuel's odds right now. They are 4th. They have the worst odds of any NFC West team to win the division at plus 600, which I think is kind of nuts right now. All right, Diante, are you putting us in our place, or is this a clean sweep and we're all brainwashed by Kyle Shanahan?
This is not a clean sweep. They're a pretender to me. And I would say not only are they a pretender, they're closer to cooked than they are contender. I think that, and I think it's okay. I think it's okay to say that the story of this season and what it may ultimately be by the time we get to the end of it is that they were a team that was so close. I don't think that this is a Super Bowl hangover year where it just seems like a team's letting go of the rope. I think obviously today was pretty circumstantial. You don't have your quarterback. The quarterback who you are playing only has use of 9 of his 10 digits, and you could clearly tell that he was struggling to handle the ball early in the game. And then the turnovers in the second half basically sealed it for Green Bay. But when you look at what this team was designed to be, and I noted this on last Friday when I was writing about the 49ers offense and what's been wrong with it, the issue was not trying to create some argument that it's been bad. You can't, by any metric or on a down-and-down basis, there's no argument that this offense is bad. In fact, this is still a top 6 to top 8 offense in just about any metric you look at, this Sunday notwithstanding. The issue is that this team was not built to contend for a Super Bowl with the top 6 to 8 offense. This team was built to contend for the Super Bowl with the number 1 offense. That's what it was built to do, is to have its entire complement of weaponry on the outside, to have Brandon Ayuk as a guy that can go win one-on-one passes. We saw how difficult this offense looked when Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk were not able to connect deep down the field in a way that they had been prior, and that was before he got hurt. We're seeing Deebo Samuel really kind of be relegated to just like a drag route and dump off guy and just getting like cheap yards after the catch. And I think that's always been a piece of his game. But the fact that defenses now are really able to take him away in the intermediate area has become an issue for this team. And then you look at the return of Christian McCaffrey, and I think that I will speak for myself, and I'm sure that this is reflected in a lot of 49ers fans. There was a thought that that would add into your yards after the catch ability in the passing game, and that you would be a better early down running team once he got back. And neither of the two have happened. We didn't get a chance to really get a legitimate evaluation this week. If they have Brock Purdy, maybe we get a clearer look against a defense that's going to be contending for a title this year and whether or not they were going to be able to find any kind of rhythm. But this team's offensive line is just getting moved off the ball snap after snap. And because of that, you're in these difficult situations to where you can't even maximize the value of Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield or Deebo Samuel getting yards after the catch because you've got so much ground to make up. And now you're asking Brock Purdy, when he's out there, to be a quarterback that we just haven't seen him demonstrate the ability to be on a week-to-week basis, which is a ceiling raiser. And I think it's okay. I think it's fine. As a matter of fact, I would say that I trust them in just about every game to be competitive outside of this one against the Bills that's coming up next Sunday and then late in December against the Lions. I think that you can make a credible argument that they can win the rest of their 6 games that are left on the schedule. I just don't know if any of that matters when you're dealing with the team that is not operating at this level it needs to offensively and certainly defensively to make another run at a Super Bowl.
Yeah, their defense without Nick Bosa. I mean, I guess it's not just Nick Bosa. They haven't had Javon Hargrave. They don't have Charvarius Ward. Like, these are 3 of their best players aside from Fred Warner on defense. You've got a new defensive coordinator. Your special teams suck. I mean, watching Kyle Shanahan today, I'm just like, is my guy gonna survive this season? Is he just like, I don't know. Someone might need to be like, you just need to take a break. Like, come back. We'll see you, at the combine or in the spring, because
he somehow
had those Go ahead.
He somehow passed Mike Shanahan in age. So he caught up to Mike Shanahan somewhere along the line. He's the senior of the family now. Like, he looks like he's aged 10 years in the last month.
Yeah, he really does. They had those, I think, back-to-back 12 men on the field penalties where I was like, just make sure, like, someone keep an eye on this guy. It's like anything is possible with him right now. And yeah, now going to Buffalo and facing Josh Allen is not going to help that. All right. So Diante's got playoff pretender. Ruiz and we can't give up on him. We're still saying contender. We'll see
Week
where
16.
we are.
That's when I'll quit them.
Okay.
That game against the Dolphins. If they don't beat the Dolphins in that week, I'm assuming they're going to beat the Bears 2 weeks from now. I'm assuming they're going to beat the Rams at home. That Dolphins game is the first real test after this Bills game, which I'm chalking up as an L right now, whether Purdy's playing or not. But that will be either the death or the rebirth of this team.
Yeah, let's see who's on the field next week, the week after. I mean, that really is a big aspect of it. What kind of team are they able to put out there? All right,